Hello, friends, and welcome to another class by Daily English Classroom. And today we are going to do the activities of the lesson The Ballad of Father Gilligan. In the last class, discussed uh, we have discussed the story of the poem, and we have seen that it is it's a ballad. It's a ballad, and ballad is a type of poem that tells a story. And here we can see this poem is about the story of Father Gilligan, who was a priest, and his parish, the people in his parish were really suffered by a kind of epidemic, and because of that, so many people are dying every day. Daily, so many people are dying, and he had to do the rites of the dying people. So he was very busy doing his priestly duties, and as a result, he was very tired. Then one day, while he was sitting on his chair, he fell asleep, and a man came there, and that man wanted him to come there to his house to give the holy sacraments to the dying man. But because the priest was so tired, he fell asleep and he could not go to that house. And he wakes up only in the next morning to find that he could not perform his divine duty. And so what happened? He went to the house of the sick man and found that the man was already dead. But the sick man's wife told him that he died very peacefully, as merry as a bird after you have left. Then Father Gilligan understood that someone was there. Somebody came there as Father Gilligan, and he knows who that was. It was an angel sent by God Himself to help the priest. So that is a summary or the story of this poem. And today we will do the textual activities. And before that, if you have any doubts, if you need any clarification, you can just type your doubts here, and I will give answers to your doubts. And today, this is me actually. This is me. This is my number. Okay. You can ask your doubts. You can ask your doubts. You can type it and send to me, and I will give answers. Okay, Sharif, KS, Najia, everyone, welcome to this live class for the lesson The Ballad of Father Gilligan. Before we start the textual activities, just tell me if it is clear, if the poem is clear to you, or do you need any clarifications? Is the poem clear to you? Or is there any doubt that you want me to explain it for you? Okay, if you have any doubts, Najat, welcome to this class. Okay, you can ask me if you have any doubts from the poem. You just type it and send to me, and I will give you the answers. Okay, so I'm back here. Actually, I forget to log into my account, so that's why now I'm here live. Okay, this is my message to you. Welcome to Daily English classroom. Okay, so just tell me if you have any doubt from this poem. Do you want me to explain any of the stanzas or any doubt from this poem? You can ask me. Please type your doubts and I will give you the answers. Okay, any doubt? Do you have any doubt? Okay, Najat, welcome to this live program. Okay, any doubt? Do you have any doubt from the poem? Please ask me and I will give you the answers. Any doubt from the poem? Do you have any doubt from the poem? If you have any doubt, you just type it and send it here. I will read it from here and I will give you the explanations. This one is to give you, to clear your doubts. Okay, so if you have no doubts means we can go to the question answers, and I want everyone to take your textbook. In page number 89, take page number 89. Page number 89, we can see the questions and we will discuss the questions. So go to page number 89. There is the first question. Why was Father Gilligan very night and day? Thanks, Gio. Why was Father Gilligan very night and day is the first question. And we know the answer that he was very busy doing his priestly duties because the people in his parish were dying. So, the people in his parish are either sick or dead, and he has to perform his duties as a priest. And so he was weary and tired. He was weary and tired day and night. He has got no rest. He has got no time to take any rest. So he was weary day and night. Is that clear? The first question. Why was Father Gilligan weary night and day? And the answer is that he was weary night and day because he was busy doing his duties as a priest, and the people in his parish were dying because of an epidemic. Okay, now let's go to the second question in page number 89 in your textbook. What is the significance of the word flock? Now, I told you in the last class, flock means a group of sheep. Flock means a collective word to referring to sheep. So flocks here actually it comes from the idea that the priest is supposed to be a shepherd, and the people in his parish are the sheep. So from that concept, this idea of flock comes from. Actually, Jesus Christ, who considered himself as a shepherd and the people in the world as his sheep. So similarly, here is a priest who is a shepherd, and the people in his parish are actually the sheep or the flock. So you can write answer to this question. The parish priest is supposed to be the shepherd, and the parishioners, the people in the parish, are the flock. Okay, so that's the second question. And now we can go to question number 3. Why were his flock either in bed or lying under green sod? Question number 3 in your textbook, page number 89. Why were his flock either in bed or lying under green sod? So what is the answer? The answer is His flocks were either in bed or lying under green sod because of the epidemic that happened in the parish. And half of the people were already dead, and half of them are already affected by this disease that they are waiting for their death. So, half of the flock means half of the parishioners or the people in his parish, and half of them are already dead. Now they are in their graves or under the sods, and half of them are on their deathbeds. So I think that's clear to you. Question number 3. Now we will go to question number 4. Why did another man send for Father Gilligan? Why is the man referred to as poor? So why a man came there asking Father Gilligan to come? And why is he called a poor man? Two questions are there actually in this question. And the first one is why this man came to Father Gilligan. And the answer is very clear, that this man wants to inform the priest about a dying man. And he was called a poor man because he is poor in the sense that he is with some sins. And he has to tell all the sins to the priest before he actually dies, so that his soul will reach the heaven. So we can see that the poor referring to the poor soul of the man. That means a person who has done so many sins in his lifetime. So he was referred to as poor. And now we have the next question. Question number 5. Why did Father Gilligan seek forgiveness from God? What justification does he give to God for his errant words? Errant words here referring to wrong words that he used. He is a priest and he is complaining to God that he has no peace, no rest, no joy. So, why did he ask forgiveness from God? Because he is a priest and he should not be complaining like this to God. So he asked forgiveness from God because he has used some bad words like complaining to the God. So he asked forgiveness from God for telling or talking like this to God. He is a priest, a servant of the God who should not be angry like this. That understanding comes to his mind afterwards, and then he asked the forgiveness. And he made a justification. He said that it is not I who said it, but my body. So what is the meaning of that? It is my body spake, not I. So what is the meaning here? It is my body that said these words and not me. That means he didn't say these words intentionally. Actually, he just said it like this because he was very tired. It comes from his weak body. He was so tired and upset, so he said all these things, and not actually he meant it. So he actually asked the forgiveness of God for doing it. Then question number 6 is, why is the time called moth hour? So in this poem we have reference to different times of the day, like moth hour, then the time of sparrow chirp, etc. So the moth hour here means the time when the moths is a type of small insect that appears at this time, and the moth comes in large group at this time. So that time is called the moth hour because the story takes place in the Middle Ages, and at that time there were no watches or clock, and people used to tell the time by watching the different changes happening in nature. And so there is actually 2 moth hours, one in the morning and one in the evening. It is the time when the moths started to fly and appear in large numbers. So the moth hour of the eve is there. That means the moth hour of the evening time, and the moth hour of the morning. That means at a time when the moth also comes in the morning time. So we can say that the time is called moth's hour because it is the time when moths are seen in large numbers. Okay, so I think that is clear to you. And now we will go to the next question. Question number 7. What is meant by upon the time of sparrow chirp? I told you that there are many references to time in the poem. And here is another one. At the time of sparrow chirp, actually referring to the morning time when the birds start singing. So at the time of sparrow chirp means early morning when the birds start singing. Okay. So that was question number 7. It refers to early morning when sparrows start chirping. Now question number 8. What does the line "and rode with little care" indicate? Okay, this was a question that a student has asked in today's Victor's class also. Why was the man in a hurry to go to the house of the dying man? Or what does the line "and rode with little care" means? Little care means no care. He rode without caring for his safety, because there was only one thing in his mind, and that is to reach the house of the dying man before he dies. Because if he could not give the last sacraments, then it is his fault. He is the person. It is a duty given to him by God to help the people in his parish, to give them the last sacraments. And if he fails in doing his duty, then it will be his fault. So he was in a hurry. It was his fault that he could not go to that house at that time when that man came and informed him that a man is about to die. It was because he was so tired that he fell asleep. Actually, in his mind, he wants to reach there at that time itself, but unfortunately, he was so tired that he could not go to that house at that time, and he fell asleep. But when he wakes up, there was only one thought in his mind, and that is to reach the house of this man as fast as possible. So he rode with no care, without caring for himself, and also he is traveling through the most dangerous areas of that village, the terrains and the marshy land. He was going without caring for himself. So he wants to reach the house of the dying man as fast as possible. Okay, now let's go to question number 9. Question number 9. Why is the sick man's wife surprised to see Father Gilligan? Why is the sick man's wife surprised to see Father Gilligan? She was surprised to see Father Gilligan because Father Gilligan was there, and he gave the sacraments, the holy sacraments, the last sacraments to the dying man, and left the place. And why is he coming again? That really surprised the sick man's wife. So you can write it like this: the sick man's wife was surprised to see Father Gilligan because she thought he had come earlier and give the last sacraments to her dying husband. So she was surprised to see Father Gilligan again. Then let's go to question number 10. Why was the priest overcome with grief at the words of the widow? Why was he overcome with grief? Grief means sadness. Why was he so sad when he heard these words? Because when he reached to this house, the first thing he asked to the sick man's wife, that is the man dead? And she said, yes, the man died half an hour ago. So that was a sad news for Father Gilligan. He was full of sadness and grief because it is his mistake that he could not give the last sacraments to the dying man. It is his fault. So he was very sad. He failed in his duty. Then, question number 11, he knelt him at that word. Why? He heard the word of the dying man that he died as merry as a bird after you left. And these words give some idea about what actually happened there. Now he is sure what actually happened and who came there as Father Gilligan. One thing is sure, Father Gilligan came there and gave the last sacrament to the dying man. But Father Gilligan was actually sleeping on his chair, and then who came there at that time, just like Father Gilligan, who appeared like Father Gilligan, who came there disguised as Father Gilligan. It was, of course, an angel sent by God, who came there and gave the last sacraments to the dying man. So Father Gilligan understood what actually happened. So he wants to thank God for what he has done to save him and also the dying man. So he was happy, and he knelt there and thanked God for that. Now, question number 12. How did God save Father Gilligan from damnation? Damnation means losing the soul or going to the hell. And how did God save him? The God interfered in this situation because it is not the fault of the priest, it is not the fault of the dying man, and God knows everything, and God can come there. God can send an angel who can take the form of any person in the world and to save the life of this man, and also to save this priest. Actually, he did not come there not because he was lazy, but he was tired and his innocence. The priest is actually innocent. It is not his fault because he was tired, and that's why he fell asleep. So it was actually not his fault at all. So God interfered in such a situation where it is not the fault of any of these persons. So God saved Peter Gilligan by sending an angel to the house of the dying man and to give him the last sacraments. So that's the answer. And now we can go to the next question. He who hath made the night of stars for souls who tire and bleed. What do these lines mean? What actually is the meaning of this line? And what is the meaning of these lines? The meaning of these lines is that God has created night for those people who are working very hard during daytime, and these people, they need some rest. And so God covered the earth, God covered all the planets, or God covered the earth to make it dark so that people can take rest and sleep peacefully. So God made the beautiful night of stars so that the tired and suffering people can find some rest and comfort. Okay, now let's go to question number 14. What do you understand about the character of Father Gilligan from the words, had pity on the least of things? God had pity on the least of things. These are the words of Father Gilligan. What do you understand about the character of Father Gilligan from these words? We can understand. He calls himself the least important person. So that shows the humble nature of Father Gilligan. He is very humble, and he considers himself as a less important thing in the world, an unimportant being. But God has love for everyone, for all the creatures or human beings, and he loves human beings very well. So God showed some kindness and pity to Father Gilligan, and this Father Gilligan considers himself as the least important person, but God showed his love and caring for Father Gilligan by sending an angel into the house of the dying man and helping the father from damnation. Okay, these are the 14 questions we have in the textbook, and I hope that all of you have understood these questions and you can write these question answers in your notebook. Okay, now if you have any doubts from these question answers, you can ask it. Any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can ask, you can type your doubts and I will give you the answers. You can type your questions and I will give you the answers. Okay. Any doubt from these questions, 14 questions? Do you want any clarification for these 14 questions? If there is any, please let me know by asking the question. I will give you the answers. Or else we will go to the activities in the activities that come after this section. Okay, I hope nobody has got any doubts. It's very clear. All the questions are very clear to you. So we will go to activity 1. Answer the questions by choosing the most appropriate answers from the options given. And we have some questions here in activity 1, and you have to select the correct answer from these options. Every question we have 4 options. The people of Father, in page number 92, you can check in your textbook. The people of Father Gilligan's parish were dash. This is the first question, and we have 4 options. A, toiling in the field. B, suffering from an epidemic. C, celebrating Easter. And D, nodding their chairs. And you have to select the right answer from these 4 answers. And which one is the right answer? Yes, suffering from an epidemic. The people in the parish were suffering from an epidemic. Okay, now let's go to the second one. The old priest was dash. We have again 4 options here. Energetic, wary, fresh, angry. Which is the correct answer? The old priest was dash. Energetic, wary, fresh, angry. And we know the right answer is wary. Wary means tired and weak. Question number 3. I am doing activity 1 in page number 92. Third one, Mavron means dash. What is the meaning of this expression? Mavron. We have 4 options. My dear one. Then an expression of sorrow. Then God bless you. Then God be with you. So Mavron, Mavron is the words used by the priest when he wakes up from his sleep. And of course, this is an expression that shows the sadness or sorrow. And so the right answer is this one, an expression of sorrow. Now, question number 4. Father Gilligan awoke with a start, realizing that he had not dash. 4 options are there. Done his duty, roused his horse, finished his homework, said his prayers. He had not dash. And the right answer is done his duty. He had not done his duty. Okay, then the next one, number 5. The word flock in the context of the poem means dash. What is the meaning of flock here? A flock of sheep, sparrows, stars in the sky, people in the parish. And the right answer is a flock of sheep. A flock of sheep is the right answer. Is that the right answer? Flock here means who are actually flock here? I'm sorry. Here, the people in his parish are referring to by the word flock. Okay. Then number 6. Who is wrapped in purple robes? Who is referred to as wearing a purple colored robes? Father Gilligan, the stars, God, sparrows. And the right answer is God. Yes. Then question number 7. The expression green swords refer to graves covered over by green grass, the stars in the sky, the people in the parish, God's angels. And this expression, what is actually the meaning of this expression green swords? And the green swords are referring to the graves covered with green grass, the people who are buried, and how it is now covered with grass. The next question is, what is referred to as moth hour of the eve? Moth hour of the eve means dawn. Dawn means early morning. Noon means noontime. Then evening, the night of stars, which is the right answer. Moth hour of the eve is referring to the evening time. So that is activity 1. And I think that's very easy and clear to you, and I hope that there are no doubts in that. Okay, now we will go to activity number 2. The poem is in the form of a ballad. The ballad is a poem or song narrating a story in short stanzas. Ballads are usually musical and dramatic. What are the features that make this poem a typical ballad? So this question is very important. Why do we say that this poem is a ballad? Ballad is a type of song that tells a story. There are some features of ballad. What are the features of ballad? Number 1, it tells a story. Number 2, it is in simple language. It has musical quality. It is written in the form of stanzas, and it has got rhyming words and rhyming scheme. And our poem, the Ballad of Father Gilligan, meets all these requirements of a ballad. Let's see how. So it has many features of a ballad. You may note down that in your notebook. First one, it tells a story. Yes, this poem tells a story, and that is the story of Father Gilligan. Then it uses a simple language. Second feature of a ballad is that it uses simple language. Yes, this poem we can find simple language. Then another feature of the ballad is its structure in different stanzas, and we can see 12 stanzas in the poem. So it is divided into different stanzas. That is also one quality of the ballad, and this poem follows that stanzaic structure. Then it has a fine rhythm and music, and there are some dialogues. Another feature of a ballad is that it makes use of some dialogues. We can see some dialogues in this poem, like Mavron, Mavron, the words of Father Gilligan, and also what he asked to the sick man's wife, has the man died? And the words of the sick man's wife, he died half an hour. So dialogues are there in the poem, which is another feature of the ballad. Ballad, another feature of ballad. And there is a rhyme scheme. What is the rhyme scheme of this poem? We can just take the poem and we can check the rhyme scheme of this poem. So we know that it is written in the form of stanzas. Different stanzas are there. Four lines are there in one stanza. Yes, Alan James David, he said it. The rhyme scheme of this poem is A, B, C, B. So that means the first letter, the first word is a separate word, and the second line, the second word is B, and the third one is a different one other than the A, B, and C, but the last one is again B. So that means lines 2 and 4 are rhyming. Let's see if it is correct in the first stanza. Let's take the first stanza and let's take the last words of each line in the first stanza. First one is, yes, I will type it here. First one is Gilligan. Second one is day. Next line is beds. Next line, last word is lay. Okay, so Gilligan, day, beds, lay. These are the last words of the lines in the first stanza. Gilligan, day, beds, lay. First one, Gilligan is A, and the next one is day, and the day is different from the first one, Gilligan, so we call it B. Then the next one is beds, so we have to check if it is rhyming with A or B, with Gilligan or day. Beds is not rhyming with Gilligan, it is not rhyming with day, so it is a different one, so we give the next letter C. And then the next word is lay, and we have to check that if it is rhyming with any of this one, A, B, or C. Lay and Gilligan is not rhyming. Lay and day, yes, that is rhyming. So the last one is again B. So we can say that the rhyming scheme of this poem is A, B, C, B. The second word and the fourth words are rhyming. So the rhyme scheme of this poem is A, B, C, B. So this poem has all the features of a ballad. Now once again I'll repeat what are the features. It tells a story, it uses simple language, it is in the form of stanzas, it has musical qualities, it has got many rhyming words, and also it has got a rhyme scheme. So it follows all the requirements needed for a ballad. So we can be sure that it is a typical ballad in all sense. Now let's go to activity number 3. How does Yeats describe the character of Father Gilligan in the poem? How does the poet describe Father Gilligan in the poem? And you have some bubbles given in your textbook, and you have to write some words that you can use to refer to Father Gilligan. Now, which are the words we can use here? So, these are some words that you can use in these bubbles. First one, you can write humble. Then we can say he is religious. He is very religious. Then God-fearing. God-fearing. Then sincere. He is very sincere man. Then duty conscious. He is a duty conscious man. Then sympathetic. He is sympathetic. Grateful, another word that we can use that while talking about the character of Father Gilligan. So all these words you can use to refer to Father Gilligan. I will repeat the words: humble, religious, duty conscious, God fearing, sympathetic, sincere, hardworking, grateful. And you can use all these words to refer to the character of Father Gilligan. Now, let's go to activity number 4 in your textbook, page number 93. Read the poem again and pick out an instance of simile used in the poem. So, here you are asked to read the poem and find out an example of simile used in the poem. What is a simile? Simile is a comparison, saying one thing is like another thing. Do you have, can you see any such lines from the poem that is saying that one thing is like another thing? Yes, of course, here the words of the sick man's wife. If you remember the words of the sick man's wife, he died as merry as a bird. As merry as a bird. The as merry as a bird actually means it's a simile, a comparison. We say the birds are very happy or merry. That's why they are singing. That is our concept. So he died very peacefully and happily. So as merry as a bird. The man dying is compared to a bird who is very happy and singing for us. So as merry as a bird. So here Alan James has asked me a doubt here. What is the difference between sympathy and empathy? Well, both of these words have somewhat a similar meaning, and empathy has got some more feeling towards that person, that you love that person, you want to do something to that person. Some more emotional term is empathy. Okay. Then we have the next one, activity 5. Yeats uses a number of images in the poem to provide sensory experiences to the readers. Pick out instances or examples of visual and auditory images from the poem. So this is about images used in the poem. What are images? Images are some pictures that we get, some by seeing it, some by hearing it, some by touching it, some by smell, etc. So there are visual images, auditory images, olfactory images, tactile images, etc. And you are asked to write some of the visual images used in the poem and also the auditory images used in the poem. So I'll give you some examples of visual images used in the poem. Flock in their beds, green swords, nodding in chair, leaning on the chair, stars, moth, then rocky lane, bird, Saul who tire and bleed, God in his purple robes. All these are examples of visual images, images that we understand by watching, that appeals to our sense of seeing or appeals to our eyes. And auditory images are images that we understand by the sound. Now, is there any such images related to sound is used in the poem? Yes. The first one is sparrow chirp, the sound. It is referring to a sound, or an auditory image. The sparrow chirp is an example of auditory image. Then we can also see the word cried. Cried is also an example of auditory image. So you can make a list of visual images and also auditory images used in the poem. visual images you can write in one column and auditory images in the other one. We have only one or two auditory images from the poem, and the rest there are so many visual images used in the poem, so you can write that in your notebook. Then let's go to activity 6. Look at the words in page number 94 in your textbook. Page number 94 in your textbook. Okay. Look at the words given in bold. They are rhyming words. Pick out other rhyming words from the poem. Now identify and write the rhyme scheme of the poem. This part we have already done. And the rhyme scheme of the poem is A, B, C, B. That means the last word in the second line and the fourth line in all the stanzas are rhyming words. So you can easily find it from the poem. Take one stanza and take the last word in the second and fourth line, and those should be rhyming words. Okay, so the rhyming words, some of the rhyming words used in this poem are die, I, asleep, peep, wind, mankind, more, floor, chair, care, fen, again, ago, fro, bird, word, bleed, need, care, chair. These are all rhyming words used in the poem, and don't forget the rhyme scheme of this poem is A, B, C, B. That's very important. So these are the activities in your textbook, and two more activities are there, like activities 7 and 8, which are for the students to do in the class, to recite the poem and to do a choreography of the poem. So to recite it, when you are reciting it, give stress to those bold words in that marked in your textbook, like I have no rest, no joy, no peace, for people die and die. And after cried he, God forgive, my body spake not I. So give stress to those words that are marked in bold letters in your textbook. So you will get a rhythm of this song. And the last activity is to do a choreography of this poem. And in today's Victor's class, they have clearly explained the different steps that we have to follow when doing a choreography. First, you have to read the poem many times and select the most important scenes or images, the important scenes from the poem, write it, arrange them in the correct order, and then write a script of that and call your friends and assign roles to your friends and just show them on the stage, and two of them can take the textbook and read it at that time when the others are acting what is read here by the two students. So this is the way we can do the choreography. So that's all about the lesson, the Ballad of Father Gilligan, and I hope that you understood all this. I think I have missed one question from Alan David. Mavron. What is the meaning of Mavron? Well, Mavron is an expression that shows sadness. It's a word that we show that we are very upset, just like we say some interjections like oh my god, alas, words like this. So this one is such a word, Mavron, oh my god, what happened, what have I done, I forget to go to the house of the man. So that is the expression, an expression that shows the sudden fear in the mind of the priest. I think it's all clear for you. If you have any doubts from this lesson, you can just type it here and I will give you answers to these questions. Is that clear? Is there any doubt from this poem? You can please type in and ask. I will give you the answers. Any doubt from this poem or the activities? And I will be uploading this live class in my channel so that you can watch it. If you have missed the first part of it, I started by 5:30, and if you have missed the first part where I was explaining the first part, the story summary and the question answers and other activities, if you have missed those parts, you don't worry, you can watch it in my YouTube channel, Daily English Classroom. And also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, you can subscribe so that you will get notification whenever I am doing a live class. So make sure that you subscribe to our channel and also tell your friends about our live classes. Okay, Alan James want me to explain the last two lines of the poem. Okay, here we go. The last two lines of the poem. Had pity on the least of things asleep upon a chair. So here Father Gilligan is talking about himself. He is calling himself the least important thing on earth. He calls himself as the less important, not important thing on earth, and he considered himself as a very humble man, not so important person who fell asleep on a chair. And the thing asleep upon a chair is Father Gilligan. He is calling himself a not so important man who fell asleep on his chair. Then had pity on the least things asleep on the chair means God has shown some kindness and pity to me, who was a least important thing sleeping on a chair at that time, because God has interfered and he sent an angel to help both Father Gilligan and also the dying man. Is that clear? Okay, if you have any doubts like this, you can just type it, and if I know the answer, I will explain it to you. And so this is one of the best poems in 10th standard textbook that has got all the features of a good poem. This is a wonderful poem, best one for doing a choreography, and also this one gives a good message. And it's a wonderful poem. We can never forget this beautiful poem. You may have really enjoyed reading this poem. So this one is a wonderful poem. So if you have any doubts, you can post your doubts. Otherwise, we'll just wind up today's class, and next day we'll be doing more classes. So I think that's all for today, and that your doubts are clear. Okay, so thank you very much for coming to this live class. In the coming classes, we'll be doing more classes like this. So stay tuned and have a nice day. And thanks for watching.